Okay, we're going to work on the cam plate here. So we got to put the oil pump on it. We're going to put in a new cam set. And we're going to put in the zippers dual hydraulic tensioners. So that's the plan. So first you got to take out the stock ones here, the blocks. Got that one on this side, this one over here. That's the first thing you got to do. So you got torque set on the one side here. We can drop it a couple times. Nice and tight. Appears they have some Loctite on that thing. Alright, so we don't need that. Oil off. The other side has an Allen bolt on it. I think they would use the same size hardware on both. Okay, make sure the plate's all clean. Nothing wrong with the hydraulic holes or anything. So, nice and flat. If this isn't flat, you're going to have an oil leak. So we got our tensioner here. So we're going to bolt that on. We got one on this side, we got one on the other side. Let's see here. That one goes first. Give you the new Allen bolts to use. What's that?
Kan je scoop je buikje weer?
I don't know, what's in it?
Huh?
What's in it?
Well, you get.
Well, you got no green shit in there, should be alright.
No, just cheese.
Cheese is fine. Okay, I can put a bit of Loctite on here. Factory torque on it. About that much. Probably supposed to put the stuff on last too, but yeah, what the hell. Makes it more fun when you get it harder to put together. Oop. Too much Loctite. That was too much Loctite. I spilled it everywhere. It makes Loctite happy when you use too much. It's a different size Allen because of the stupid button here. That's okay. We have tools for that. Wipe off the excess Loctite there. Okay, now we have the new updated tensioners installed. Okay, now the new cams have no bushings or anything on them. They just run right on the aluminum. And one thing I do like to do, I like to mark the gears teeth so I can see what's going on with red. So wherever the dot is at, we mark it. Also mark it up here on the top. And on the bottom in here too, so I can see it in here too. Let's see, where's this one marked at? This one's in between two teeth. So you mark it between the two teeth. Tooth there and tooth here. Alright, so now we're marked all around so I can see it. Even if it's installed, I can see it. Okay, you got two chains, you got a short one and a long one. Short one goes on the inside, long one on the outside. Take your assembly lube and lube up everything. Make sure you get a good layer of it in there because you're not going to get any for a while. I like putting on the oil pump face also. And we're going to thrust face over here for the cams too. And then we take the cams themselves, lube them up. Now this one here has a snap ring that holds it in. The other one's held in by the gear. So it helps to put the cams in the right hole. It's up to you to figure out what that is though. Now you put the chain in there. Come on, fighting with me. It's hard to do for the camera. Just kind of roll them around there. There it goes. So right now you can see how they're not lined up very well. So you got to rotate a couple teeth, and then see how they line up, directly drop. They run center. That's where they should be. So now you got your two cams ready to go on the bike. Of course, I'm putting them in backwards. Flip around the other way. This is the drive one right over here, so it goes on the drive side of the system. See where it's next to the one that has a tensioner on it. Flip it upside down so you can see what the drive system is. See, the back one's the one that has a spline on it, and the front one does not. Okay. Now I purposely put the shoe in before I did anything else. So now I have to compress the shoe to let the chain drop. See how the cam drops in then at that point? So, no big deal. You can do it either way. So the key part is you look in there, you can see that the line lines up there. Also on the other side, you can see how the lines line up about here. And you also have the drive on the back one where it belongs, not up here in the front. And you got your spacing washers here going there. Now these can vary in thickness. See, one's 108, 109, the other one's 100. So this is what's going to offset your sprocket over here. As I recall, 100 is the stock one, which that goes in the front hole. And that's held on with a clip. That's what retains the can into the plate. When you put the clip in, you want to make sure you put the sharp edge out. When you stamp it, you get a smooth side and a sharp side. The sharp side goes out will help retain it, hold on better. Takes more before it pops out, which is always a good thing. Make sure you're all the way in there. It's tight on that washer. And making sure I got the clip all the way in the groove with the screwdriver. So it's all the way in there. And you want to make sure the washer itself is, you can move the washer with your fingers. That way you know it's not bound up in there. Okay, make sure everything rotates. It still does. And once again, make sure your marks are lined up. Both sides are lined up so you can see both sides. Okay, that side's ready to go back in the bike. Now, next thing I want to do before we put the plate in the bike, you want to go ahead and put the oil pump on this thing. So this takes multiple parts to make up the oil pump. Now we just lost one. Make sure you clean off after you drop it on the floor. Alright. So we got a scavenge section, which is your fat one. Pressure section, which is your skinny one. Gyrotor. So they go together. You look for any marks. If there are any marks on these, they go together. If there's no marks, like these ones appear to have no marks, it doesn't matter how you go together. You got two spacer washers and a spring clip between them. That's what holds it all together. Alright, so you want to make sure you got lubricant in here. You can see the wear in here from where it wears in these things. Everybody makes a big fuss about the wear mark in there, but in the real world, they don't mean squat because that's not where the oil pressure is at. What matters is any wear marks right across the grooves right there is what matters. And that's where it dumps the oil pressure if you got marks. Okay, the return piece goes in first, so make sure you lube up everything good. You done eating?
Yeah.
You almost missed all the fun.
Oh, yeah. Oil pump parts.
Almost done. So make sure you put a good oil supply inside of this thing. That way as soon as you start rotating the motor, you got oil pressure in return. Come on. There it goes. When you get it just right, it falls together. See?
Mm-hmm.
When you don't, you're fighting it. That's got an offset washer to it. You have to figure out how it fits into the pump body. It appears to go in that direction. That's your shim washer. And you got your other washer.
Tell me how that pump works.
It pumps oil. The more you want to know.
What is it wobbles in there, right? Not wobbles, but it goes around not in a circle.
It doesn't wobble. It's held centered by the parts.
Yeah. It pushes oil between the gears.
It's an eccentric. So let's say you got a round hole here.
Yeah.
You you got the pump gear. You don't spin right in the middle. You're right on the one side. So as the gear rotates, it pressurizes oil between the rotors. And by the time it gets down here, it's under full pressure.
Huh.
And then it's open up underneath inside the pump, and it blows out. When you come back around here, there's no more pressure on this side.
Just gathers the oil up there.
So
huh?
this is the inlet side over here, and this is the output on this side.
Hmm.
And it's more efficient than a gear pump. It has less cavitation, and it makes less heat. Has less air bubbles, which is cavitation. So all of that stuff makes it good. Now you want to make sure you line these up so they're equal on both sides. So you got to rotate it around so that the crank will be able to go right through it. And wherever point that's at.
I didn't see a gasket for that. Was there a gasket on there or no?
Nope, no gasket. That's why when you put them together, they're better be flat, or it leaks. Okay, now this just goes right on top of your pump here. Right here.
Oh.
See how good that is for video? So that's the difference between trying to make stuff you can see on camera and the way you do it normally.
We don't edit things around here at Tatro's.
Well, it works a lot better when you do it this way. The parts don't fall apart as easy,
Mm-hmm.
but it's harder to see it on video when you do it this way.
Well, it gets assembled as a unit, and thrown in at one time, huh?
Mm-hmm. This is just kind of a mock-up so you can see how it goes. You
Oh.
actually put the oil pump on the bike first, so you don't have to fight it. So it goes together like this when it's on the bike. Crank goes through the center. This goes into your case, and that's how it assembles up.
The fancy tensioners on there now.
Yep, right there. We got our shim washer for here, which we might have to play with. And the long chain, you got your two gears over here. These have dots on them on the outside, nothing on the inside. So you got to put the dots where you can see them. That means they're on the outside. And you put these together. The dots line up, just like the other two cams. So when the two big dots line up, it's all on the motor like that. You're lined up timing-wise. Pretty straightforward. All right, so right now we got this all ready to go. So I'm going to switch over the bike, reset up.